Anetons, connecting professionals.
Please share my screen. Okay, please confirm if you guys can see the screen.
Yeah, Vaibhav, it's visible.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, and uh, I have been asked like this should be an intuitive and more sort of interactive session. So I would love to ask questions and you answer and be interactive. Okay, so that will be nice. Thanks for being here. Let's start. So introduction, we'll talk about the Microsoft Intune, what it is and what it is doing, why is it there, and why not on premises, why is it in cloud, so many things, so many doubts. uh, Everyone, I think majority of are coming from SCCM background, and we are full-fledged aware how do we manage devices through on-prem SCCM application. What did that change, and where the new architecture came as in Intune as in cloud, and what does it carry, and how can you utilize, and you can best offer to your customers. Okay, so we'll begin. These sort of my doubts earlier when I did a start, so I just thought of keeping that with you. First was like, what is device, what is management, why is it necessary, why cloud based, why Intune, what it is, what is the capability of it, why we should use it, all sort of thing, how it is very much like we have been coming from a different set of like analogy where we think like keeping uh, all the devices over the LAN or Wi-Fi, corporate Wi-Fi, that is the only way to secure the data, secure the company's resources, encryption, everything. You do it like from that way. Now how do we manage it all through cloud? Okay, so many hiccups, so many roadblocks, but now in this session would like to furnish as much as possible. We'll try to make you know as simpler as possible. Okay, so these are the questions, these are the doubts. Let's talk about more in granular way. So I hope picture is fine, otherwise I'll just zoom in. If is that okay?
It works fine, Vaibhav.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So this picture talks about the overall structure. Okay, how does Microsoft, it is a very small entity, how does this over the Azure cloud services, how does this SaaS based application works? So this, the first thing, it talks about the self service. In this self service you can leverage a portal where your users can access applications and they can perform various tasks where you don't require your IT assistance. For example, uh, you can give them a self password reset portal, or something that they can easily, like a log a ticket, they can do that, reset and other stuff. They can easily manage the self-service portal by their own, where your IT intervention is not required. Okay, and this is web-based admin center. Web-based means this is on a cloud. Okay, this is like if you have internet, if you have a browser, and you simply just wanted to do some you just wanted to access the admin center, you can easily do that without having any problem. Okay, then apps. So apps is something you can remotely download, install, deploy on users devices. You can put the updates, you can protect and measure the apps data, and you can securely manage to update, remove, all sort of things you can do it. So that is where the protection comes, and it does not also, I mean, in the next slide I have talked, it does not also give the flexibility to users to copy paste data. So that is where you're also safeguarding it. The next is talks about the identity. So identity is something all is based on the custom rule. So if your user is given a particular license, okay, and if the license if the policy is assigned to him, like as he either he's a part of group or he's a part of any sort of AUs, so he will be given only given access to that as an identity. It is simple, like if you have a key, then only you can you have a retina access, you have a fingerprints and all. If that is working fine, then you can get access to, otherwise this identity will not work. So this identity, especially when users are part of a group, then it enforces the policies, okay, and ensures that the right person having the right access, and that is how the security is in place, okay. The next is devices. So device compliance is the big chunk here. This is where you send the configuration profiles. This is where you send the conditional access, okay, based on the organizational policy. And this is where BYOD concepts come, which is like bring your own device. So here you gives a flexibility to users, so they can bring their own device in the organization or out of the organization, but still they have a liberty to access corporate data, okay. Then then we're talking about remote and hybrid workers. So what is the best thing is here, that your user who's working in your organization or sitting in on premises, or maybe he's someone from outside but still part of your organization, he can still access the resources regardless of his location, okay. Integration part comes where you already aware that SCCM. So SCCM, now the flexibility is there in SCCM, where you can extend the workload in Intune or cloud, okay. You can do a Windows autopilot, which is like a legacy imaging concept, where like if you go to 20 years back, uh, one person or two person, they are like having so many laptops and they are doing imaging for those. One person is having a USB stick and he's just roaming around and plugging into the devices and just waiting for a couple of hours to complete this. Now that concept has been already all sort of like deprecated. It is coming because of Windows autopilot. Windows autopilot is like I have another slide, so we'll talk about that. And Microsoft Defender for Intune, which ensures that yes, security is intact. And Windows Auto Patch is something that you from SCCM, you know that you download the patches to create the groups, and then you put it to collection, and it goes to the device, user's machine, and then they download, and that's long story. Windows Auto Patch means you don't need to you don't need to do especially anything, just create the ring and then that's it. And after that, every month when Microsoft releases the patch, it gets auto pushed to the devices, okay. You don't need to do any sort of manual efforts. And it is associated with all your Microsoft 365 endpoint analytics is there, which helps you identify what is happening with your devices in your organization, what is happening with the apps, what is the usage. And if the device is marked like, you can assign, like if it's not checked in for last 7 days or 15 days, something like that, so that should auto go as a non-compliant, okay, and user should get a trigger. You can also restrict one person or one user, how many devices should he register with the organization. So these limits you can assign, okay. From the security measures, if I say security standpoint, it is again comes with zero trust. Zero trust is a security feature, or maybe I would say as a practice. This ensures that the security is maintained at every level, okay, and access is being monitored continuously. So it is like you going to a college or a school. So every step there is a person who's asking about your identity, and if anywhere you fails, then your access will be blocked or broken. Okay, and this is where you can have integrate with your managed Google Pay. Okay, if you're using Apple devices, you need to have Apple tokens. Okay, and TeamViewer Weaver is also an application through which you takes remote, and mobile threat defense services is there. So all sort of features is like a complete package by Microsoft. They have baked for this Intune. One more thing, talking about the reporting and data. Reporting is when we'll go into console, we'll look forward. So there are various types of reports that you can generate, you can look after, and you can ensure that yes, your organization is keeping a track of all the devices. Okay, so this is the overall, I would say, all sort of components which are integrated, that gives you a comprehensive and secure environment. And that is where you can, like in modern work environment, this is the way you can efficiently work with things. All right, this is an
Hi, Vaibhav.
architecture. Yep.
Sorry to interrupt. One quick doubt. Actually, I have this company portal app installed in my mobile phone. Okay, and
Mhm.
along with that, I have this Outlook app also, and this Teams app also. So for this
Mhm.
Outlook and Teams, I logged in with this Hexaware organization email ID, right?
Mhm.
So I logged into this Intune company portal with the same Hexaware email ID. So because of that only, I can't copy any data from the in Teams or Outlook outside of that application, right? So if you
So
try to copy
yes,
from
that
the
is that
okay,
is covered in the PPT. So I don't have much
oh,
time. So let me
okay,
finish. Then
yes,
we'll
yes,
just take the discuss. They will take the
okay,
doubts. Okay. If you have any doubts,
yeah,
just write it down on a paper, or maybe just keep it with you.
okay,
I'll definitely answer all your queries. Okay. And
okay, yeah,
still
thanks.
we have this week and next week. So I'm there. Okay.
Yeah, sure,
Uh,
man, thanks.
thank you. So this is where you see. This is where you see. Like you got sorry, my bad. Okay, so this is where you see a web console is given. This is your Intune dot Microsoft.com console. This is a console for the IT admins. Okay, so uh, this gives you a flexibility to create or configure your sort of policies and everything. Okay, and when next it says uh, configuration and reporting. So this is where uh, when you create your configuration file profiles, or you do any settings, okay, all sort of things comes here. Okay, next is goes to Graph API. So Graph API is Microsoft's, it's I would say Graph API as a framework is underlaying all the services of Microsoft. Okay, so what it does, it connects to multiple APIs. Okay, it is uh, the one which integrates, which connects with multiple APIs and get fetch the data, then sends to you back, and you sends any information. Then this is this Graph API and REST API. These two, these are the APIs which are involved, in all sort of mechanism in behind the scenes. Okay. So what it does, it connects to this Microsoft Intune. Okay, in Microsoft Intune, here you see I don't know, my mouse is not working. Okay, so this is where you see that your configuration profiles, you create your configuration uh, profiles and configuration policies for the devices. This is how you make sure that yes, the right configuration profiles are triggered and targeted to the right devices, and right configuration policies which helps you to ensure that yes, device is meeting the compliance. For example, I have a device where the camera is enabled. Okay, but I don't want my employees to step in my office with camera enabled phone, but there is a setting which is I can tweak, and I can set that thing. I want all the devices with at least 8 digit or 15 digit of password, whatever. I mean, you need to have a pin enabled, you need to have password enabled sort of things, so you can do. I don't want any devices which are quite old, okay, with the older version of Android, maybe 5 or 6 maybe. So I don't want any iOS version which is more than 8 or 7, 9. I don't want. So this is where you can manage things. Okay, then protect data. Protect data is something uh, that is where you can protect applications especially. So as I heard that you don't get options to copy and paste and all, so this is where you protect the data for all the devices which are connected and are intact with Entra ID and on-premises Azure Active Directory. Okay, manage apps is something you have flexibility to assign the right applications, okay, and set the app configuration policies. So this is we'll talk more in this. And this is Active Directory, which is now turns into now Entra ID. Everyone is known more into cloud. So Entra ID is the one which is integrated with this Microsoft Intune. So you need to create a group. Okay, in that group, you need to assign sort of authentication and authorization, your policies, everything, and that gets targeted here. Okay, so any user which is part of this Active Directory group will get all sort of policies and compliance, everything, authorization. Without having him added in this group, he will not be able to access any sort of company resources. Okay, and there is a conditional access which is given. So conditional access is something you want him to comply with certain access limit or route. If he's not meeting, then he will not be able to, as I said, device, you need to have at least 8 digit of password, you should have a pin, you should have at least minimum OS version, all sort of latest software updates, and company portal should be on the latest version. And I know some Chinese brands, I like Redmi or Oppo or something. So we had very tough time to enrolling those. Sometimes it is Microsoft states that we are not going to onboard this operating system because of limitation or some sort of security measures, so they don't want to authorize. So once you have all sort of things there. Okay, so what happens, this is, you are on mobile, okay, and you have applications and everything. So what it does, data from telecom users, for example, there is a telecom company, okay, so they can also, you can also checks and identify like what is the data usage and what is happening on this device particularly. Okay, you can have a mobile threat defense connector, so that ensures that your data compliant. Okay, and this mobile threat assessment is done before enrolling this device. So it ensures that yes, if the device is meeting the criteria, only this, then he will be eligible to access. And this network access control partner, okay, this is especially when you are on premises network. Okay, this also goes and checks, okay, how things are working. Are we protect? Okay, is the device compliant? Okay, do we have read permissions and all? So that is where it checks. And also some SaaS applications, like you have Apple Store, you have a Google Play or Microsoft, or you have your line of business applications, or custom web applications, maybe script or something, you can easily you can furnish from here. Okay, so this is sort of very I would say robust and uh, foolproof foolproofed. Okay, don't need to worry about anything. Okay, two pillars of Intune is MDM and MAM. So this is mobile device management. This runs only on the devices. Okay, you cannot think that this will work here as well. And MAM only works on the application. So for example, manage devices through MDM, you can manage the devices. Okay, MAM, you can manage only applications installed in the devices. Okay, this is a separate entity. And MDM requires enrollment because that is how you onboard the device. Okay, in Intune. And MAM does not require any enrollment. Okay, so you simply, if you have a company portal, you can simply, there is a way of doing it. So you can simply access the applications without having any enrollment. And MDM gives you more granular control. Okay, for example, I talked about the operating system minimum requirement. Also, you can restrict the jailbroken devices. Okay, you can restrict the camera, email access, or you can have access to only authorized apps and all. You can do it through MAM. You can restrict the cut, copy, paste, and you also might have noticed when you are working on the corporate app and you are flipping to WhatsApp, you're just swiping to another application. So the company corporate application, it gets like you get the black screen on that. Okay, you cannot see what is happening there or what was that. So what people do, like if you're doing using a WhatsApp, you can simply flip and you can take the notes in the one app, and then on the second one you can type the number, OTP, whatever. Okay, you can do that. But here due to restrictions, okay, you won't be able to do that. So Intune pillars, it can be integrated with Azure and Microsoft 365 services. So we have a next, in the slide we have talked, and I've talked about all about licenses and everything, and this is where it meets the compliance standards. So through MAM and MDM, you can ensure that yes, your compliance are met. You are protecting corporate data without affecting personal data, and no separate infra needed. Okay. So the best features and benefit what you get is again, you can do sort every you set the compliance policy to ensure that your baselines are met and your device is meeting those. Configuration manager, you can again integrate with SCCM. Windows update management, we have a auto patch, Windows auto patch. So through this we can do all Windows 10, 11. We can update those through auto patch. And with Windows 10 onwards, you don't need to have a company portal especially installed on that. Regardless, it's just for the mobile devices or the older version you need to have. Otherwise, it's already inbuilt, and Windows 10 and 11 is like 11 is more robust. So more AI and cloud things. I think everyone is knowing about Copilot they have introduced, and so many new features which are already coming. So this is where you can do MDM, endpoint security, and conditional access. So you all are good with this. This is more illustrative. So this tool gives you options to deploy and update software, configure their settings, enforce policies, monitor the usage of data, and you can generate the reports. Okay, so if at any cost you require a bulk report of one particular application, what is the usage, or maybe a particular user, if you are unsure that if he's doing the right things or not, and you want to fetch the data and identify, or you just want to block that particular user because you don't want him to enroll in the Intune, so you can definitely do that. And ability to administer and manage virtual and physical devices regardless of their physical location, I talked about it. And this is where you do not have this is where you do not have any limitation. Now Linux is also part of it. So Windows, Mac, iOS, almost all sort of devices you can manage through Intune, no problem. Okay. And one best thing is you can automate policy management and deployment of applications. So you don't need any like if you have a schedule like tomorrow there is a change and that which is in the midnight, so you don't want yourself to awake and do the deployment. Okay, you can all sort of things you can do that through the automation. Okay, and you can optimize device features as per your business need. As your operating system, you do the hardening and all. So that is where you can do this for your mobile devices as well. You can optimize devices like Windows on all sort of platforms. You can do that, and it is like a single point of management of devices. So you don't need require multiple consoles to do sort of things. Okay, but with a central console you can administer everything. And the last and the rarest and the foremost requirement is securing your and protecting your data on the devices. So organizations pay like there is a for example, I say there is a finance company, okay, and that finance organization are very restrict because of the GDPR standard and measures. They are very much ring fenced their data, and they want to secure their users data without any sort of compromise. So this is where you can ensure that yes, everything is safe and it's prevented from unauthorized access. uh, this is more elaborative, two more factors which I have added. So as talked, mobile device from a central console, deployment of software updates, configuration secure settings, and enforcing the policies, monitoring all sort of data, remote administration. For example, if user is stuck on something, you can easily take remote off the device and you can help user to solve his problem. And maintain networks of common operating systems. Okay, optimize devices for business use, you can do it. Automate as I talked. And cloud attach means you register your tenant in SCCM, through which your SCCM starts identifying the okay, there my identity is now in the cloud as well. And that is how you so we have a topic discussion in the next couple of sessions. We'll talk about it. And mobile device management, you can have all sort of enrollment of user devices. You can push apps on the devices, you can restrict it, can block personal devices, okay, if there is any. And you can remove data for the lost or stolen. So it is very crucial that if you are a company resource and if you are given a company mobile, and what if something happens on the tour, or you just brought this with you and you just lost it. So still you can call your IT team and they can do the wipe and everything. Okay, and they can safeguard the corporate data. And security and protection is, as I said, it's already there. And when I say mobile uh, application management, prevention of safe I would say security features. So where you don't want your applications data or corporate data to be compromised. So this is where you can put the authenticate user by sending a prompt or asking him to put the numeric code from the authenticator or something. And that is where you ensure that yes, this is the right guy and he's in the right group and he's having a right privilege, and that is where he gets access to. So I on my mobile sometime when I have to access my hexaware email. So since I am on a client network, so I have already configured my through company portal. I have configured my client account. But if I need to access my hexaware emails, I open Chrome and I put that like office address, Outlook address, and then I get a prompt to put your login credential, login ID and password. Then I gets the authenticator, I puts that, and then it gets authenticated and I have access to emails. So this is one. Okay, zero trust, just talked about it. So zero trust is something every every second or every minute you receive a signal. Okay, this signal is from the Intune side, and checks like every sort of parameter. If there is a device check-in, there is a signal comes. Okay, if there is any risk found, the signal is sent out, and then again as soon send the signals, it takes you a prompt to give your identification. Who are you? If you are accessing any sort of application, as I said, I was accessing Outlook, and I just got prompted, okay, why you need, are you the right person? If I am the right person, if I have a MFA setup, and if I am able to authenticate that, I am able to access the company data. If not, then I'll be blocked here. Okay, I will be no access. And if everything goes well, then yes, I'm here with the company resources, and whatever I want, I can do it. So sometimes you have big Excel file which is on the cloud. You just want to click on the link on the SharePoint. You just want to click on the link and you just want to see that file. So, but you cannot do it until you authenticate yourself. So this is the zero trust from Intune. So zero trust ensures that yes, all the devices are secured and the data is protected as intact. Okay. Okay. License wise, when I say these all are the licenses which gives you a privilege to access Intune. Okay, so if you are like in our company, we already are having enterprise mobility and security E5. Okay, and if you are from a different like if you are coming from a college or some sort of institute, so you will be giving education license. If you are a part of any government, you will be given a government. Okay, and F3 is for defense, business is for business suit, and this is the majority of the organizations, they have this one, which gives like, these ones are enterprise level, but 3 and 5, but this gives you more robust security and other sort of features. So we'll talk in the next slide about this. Yes, so if when we will set the lab, okay, so we will also try to see if okay, one second, let me click on this if that opens. Okay, so I hope you guys can see this. Okay, so I'll just zoom it. Okay, so there are 3 licenses. One is Intune Plan 1. This is in Indian rupees. So if you are seeing from a different country, you can access this portal and you'll get the currency changed here. So this is where the Plan 1 comes with the least subscription of 600 something. 2 gives you additional what I say, all sort of features from plan 1 plus additional feature of plan 2. So here what it says that if like if you are adding this so if you are adding this as plan 1, okay, so this offers you advanced endpoint protection capabilities. So this is the extra, like in 335 rupees you are adding extra endpoint capabilities, which is quite robust and advanced than plan 1. And this is plan this is final, I would say, the Intune suite, so which we will try to run and look for the trial and set up the tenant and everything. We'll do that. Okay, so this is free, this is free, this is you need to contact sales. Okay, what you get out of it? So in plan 1 you get the core, let me zoom in. Okay, so this is so my mouse, what happens here? Okay, this is where the core capabilities comes, like if you have cross platform for endpoint management, you can do it. You can build endpoint security, mobile access, application management, analytics and all. So this is the first thing which you get in a basic plan. And then other plans, if you tally, you will see that this tunnel, wait, I think mouse is malfunctioned. Okay, so Microsoft Intune tunnel, this is not here. Okay, so there is a lightweight VPN which is there for iOS and Android mobile devices. That is how it ensures that the data flow or the network which where you are connected is being secured and encrypted. So this comes here, and firmware sort of things does not come in plan 1, plan 2, and here it gives you add-ons if you want to do the remote help, as I talked. If you need to enable this as a security for help desk to connect with users and set up things for them, so this is add-on that you can add additionally. And endpoint privilege management, you can do it here, but it's already included in Intune suite. And all sort of analytics and other enterprise level application management, all sort of things you need to pay extra. So sometimes people who are very choosy about things, okay, they don't want to pay for all higher prices for Intune suite. They just adding the some sort of services which they require for their, depends upon the enterprise level, how big your size or your company or your user base is. Accordingly you can choose the plan and you can leverage it. So this is, you need to discuss with your client or whosoever is capable to make the decisions, and accordingly you can frame it and budget, and then you can show them that this will be the costing overall for the entire year if we are planning out for this many users. Okay, so this is a, I have given this, I'll give you the link so you guys can easily access this. Okay, so where yes, okay, so this is clear. Now next is managing the device. How does this work? So first thing first, you enroll the device. Okay, there are two ways of doing it. One is you can do the bulk enrollment as a vendor, like for Apple devices like iOS, you need to go to Apple website and you can do that as a bulk enrollment for them, which is called DAP. And self-service is also available, which you can easily manage. Okay, like I am as a user, I can simply use my mobile, I download company portal and puts in my office credential, and then I am able to continue further. So we'll talk about everything in the demo. I'll show you. Configuration wise, you set the deployment for the settings. You deploy the apps, okay, necessary apps, scripts, whatever, LOB apps. You do this here. This is where the protection comes. You ensure that yes, all sort of device criteria is met. Okay, and you also can run the inventory to identify what application is this user using, and if there is any sort of licenses being used timely or not, or devices are being checked in on time, all sort of things you can do it from here. And in sense of retire, factory reset, for example, I'm a company user, I have a company phone and I just left the company, so that device will not come along with me. I'll be returning it, and then what IT people can do, they can do a factory reset, and then they can send this to another employee who is joining next. Or you can delete the device, okay, if the person is no longer, or the device is stolen, gone, lost, whatever, so you can do that. And you can also delete the device. Sometime it happens when you're doing the enrollment and you're earlier enrollment was crashed, something happened with the company portal, and you are then, once the management profile is downloaded on like especially for iOS, there is a management profile which gets downloaded in the background when you do a company portal and authenticate yourself. But in Android it does not work like that. So I've covered everything in a couple of next sessions. So this is how you manage the devices. And the answer for MAM, your copy paste data and all those stuff. So this is how it works. So MAM is integrated here. When your device checks in, it checks the MAM policy, and then this ring fence the app. Okay, so ring fence means uh, if I have a corporate and I have personal. So corporate will be in, this will be locked. Okay. So this will be locked, but personal is open. You can use it. And with personal, you can use your personal account, but with your corporate, you're using your company credential, which is like being authenticated and everything. And now email attachment, for example, I said I have a workbook that I want to open and I want to see and copy some sort of data and I just send it to someone. So I cannot do it. Why? Because I cannot uh, paste anything in personal apps. Okay, because of the policy. And also I cannot copy, I cannot paste anything, I cannot save it. I mean, people think like, oh, it's not copying, let me download and paste it somewhere. So it will not, you will get an error message like your organization protects this, and you are not entitled to do this. Okay. And whatever you want in the drive, yes, you can save it here, but you cannot copy and paste. Okay. So you need to securely put that in a drop in the OneDrive for business, where you can drop those application, and then once you have access to your computer or wherever, you can, on mobile itself, you can log into your OneDrive with the account and you can open that. But it's still, there is a criteria, you cannot copy paste or download anywhere, you can not send it to. Okay, clear? So this was MAM protection. Securing apps. Okay, so in securing as apps means, so if you're doing any enrollment on your Android device, you will see either the applications having a small like badge, like a briefcase sign, or they are like separated in a two folder. Okay, so in two folder, so one folder will be for personal and one folder will be corporate. So it happens with me. Uh, I have two the phones. One is from a different brand, and then the second one is from different brand. So I see one uh, phone, I have those briefcase sign or and with this lock, and the another one I have, it's very separate. Corporate is in different folder and personal is in different folder. Okay, so this is how you can differentiate like whether you are using personal or your corporate. And so yes, you can from the device point of view, you can manage all sort of device with the management policies. You ensures that every sort of criteria is met. And from MAM, okay, for especially app and data management policies, you ensures that yes, your corporate data is safe and secure without having any unauthorized access. All right. Okay, this is very tricky. We will talk about this. So setting up Intune tenant when you're using SCCM and you require to attach or register your tenant to your configuration management. So this is the first thing that you do. And the second thing is that comes as a co-management. This is really in demand. Everyone is now looking after, like looking forward, how can we set it up, how can we take all those devices from SCCM to Intune so we can manage it through cloud. We don't have any dependency, and people want to in current environment, in my current environment, we are using SCCM as a least I would say 10 or 20% we are using configuration manager, and the like cloud is more of we are shifted. So it's complete shift, it's a paradigm shift from one to another. So anyway, I mean, this is what I say. Uh, Microsoft's best sell third largest selling application. The first one they have operating system, second one they have Office, and third is the largest one is the configuration manager. So they will not deprecate or dissolve this as soon as things gonna up, but it will be definitely lasting in next year. It will be there next 10 years. Okay, then after later I'm not sure how AIs and other stuff is coming, so how will that work and do the stuff. And the third option is when you have access, when your devices are there in Intune, so you have access to cloud native management. So every device which is there in your Intune, you can manage it through this unified platform. Okay. Co-management workloads, just given a small gist of it, how does this look like and all. So co-management is something where you shift the load, okay, from one side to another. So for example, in this scenario, this company, they just want to set all sort of compliance policies through Intune only. Okay, they are not relying on configuration manager, but for device configuration they are still keeping this in pilot. Endpoint protection, they're still keeping it in pilot, and resource access policies they have shifted to Intune, and client apps is like deployment and everything is coming from Intune itself. And Office click to run apps, I think they are still here. And Windows update, they're still using SCCM to update all the devices, like all Windows operating system and servers, so they're still using it. So this is how you get an option here in SSM there where you shift the workload from one to another. And for that you need to create a pilot group, or maybe you can create a collection where dump your machines which you want to be co-managed. And once the policy is triggered, that machine will, through Entra ID, you will get to see that this user or this device is now showing in Intune, and you can manage it from there. So what sort of things you can do? You can set all sort of compliance policies, you can set the device configuration, okay, you can set your endpoint protection, you can set the rules and you can set it up. Client apps, you can install all sort of client apps, LOV, and so many, like there is various categories you can do that. Office click to run apps, you can use this. And Windows update policies through auto patch, or normally normal without auto patch also you can do this. Okay, all right, this is a big architecture. I think we don't have much time, but just we'll talk in the next session maybe. So this is like you had seen Intune as a small component. Now this is a broader picture of same. Okay, so I mean, just if we want to run, we can, or let's do it next maybe. Okay, Windows Autopilot. It is, as I talked 20 years back, when you go, you see the legacy thing. People are doing all sort of things in manual effort. Now through Windows Autopilot, what does it do? So this is your vendor. Okay, he is the quirky guy. So what he does, he and here you are. Okay, let me draw this. You're Superman. Okay, so what this guy do, he is like, he's an OEM vendor. Okay, it's like Lenovo, Dell, HP, whatever. So what he does, he's having access to a console. Okay, and this console is a Intune console. Okay, where he have access to a sort of through RBAC, he's given only access to upload the hash IDs, okay, device IDs. So this device ID is extracted by this guy through a PowerShell script, Okay, once he extracts and uploads here, okay, he will simply ship this to the user. So, and it will be delivered to employee, and employee have no correlation. He's a new guy joiner, he's sitting in the COVID at home, and he didn't even know where is my office location is. Okay, and he gets a laptop now. In behind the scene, what happens, you as a superstar or superman, what you do, you have already created uh, a configuration profile for auto pilot. Okay, so what this configuration profile, you have already met, like mentioned everything. Okay, so what it does, this configuration profiles, as soon this person logs in with his or her login credential, this configuration profiles starts putting here. Okay, and then it starts deploying all policies, updates, settings, everything, and then this user gets to access to emails, Outlook, SharePoint, and everything, okay, over the network. So he does not, or I would say you do not need manually to run after a user's machine and do the deployment and everything. Okay, one best thing is, if you having an existing device and if that supports you know Windows 10 or 11, so you can simply extract the device ID and you can put that in autopilot, here in Intune autopilot, and then that those devices will when it gets reset, it will come through autopilot, it will be start working. So this is a mechanism. I think there lots of improvements still needed. Okay, as we said, we were using SCCM, we were doing task sequence, MDT, and all those stuff, but here all the efforts are cut directly. You are only given this privilege to quickly upload the hardware ID, create the auto profile, and those stuff. Okay, now support version, I'll quickly. So all these Windows 10, 11 are supported, Android 8 is supported, 15 plus is supported, macOS 12, and Ubuntu is also part of, so 22 or 20 version is there, and Linux 8 and 9 is there. Okay, enrolling a Android device, when you are doing enrolling a device, so there are like four type of profiles which will talk. Okay, so one is BYOD, which is very common, everyone is knowing it, and corporate owned device means these are a dedicated device which is purchased by your company. Okay, and maybe there is a single kiosk. For example, you going to catch a flight and you see there is a device where you just simply put your PNR and you checks in. Okay, so this is where, and point of sale device, wherever you go to mall or anywhere like Max Fashion, wherever, and you simply, there is a tablet, there is an application, you open it, you punch in your mobile number, get the OTP, select the product, put the address, pay that, that's it. And one is company owned fully managed, and one is company owned work profile. So we'll talk in when we're doing the enrollment, we'll talk about much detailed on these profiles. Okay, Linux, they have given the privilege to do so, but you need to have first Microsoft Edge installed, then you need to download Intune app, which is company portal, and when it's set up, the supported features, you can identify, checks the compliance for these devices, and you can run the scripts on these. Okay, Windows is something which is very much familiar with this, since it's a Microsoft product that's coming from Microsoft ecosystem, so there is no if and but. So earlier we used to do all sort of GPU from Active Directory, which is for automatic enrollment and all, that is also can be done from Intune. Autopilot, as I already talked about, during provisioning, you can configure the profiles and everything, you can manage, so you can give a best view and feel to customer. You can make things, you can tweak settings there. And co-management, as I talked, you need to add the device to a collection, and then that, through SSM, that starts enrolling. And BYOD, where you will have conditional access for the app, and company portal sign in. So company portal will check next. uh, so Intra ID is, again, it's for Active Directory. So there you have, like, each team is having two AUs, I would say. One is for the devices and one is for the group. Okay. And RBAC is something which is like role based access. And this is like device manager via PIM. We'll talk about it. Group manager, user read, and all. So one thing I would like to clear, there is RBAC in Intune and there is RBAC in Entra ID. So there are two different things. Whatever you're setting in Intune, that will be set to Intune only. RBAC, like Intune administrator or group administrator, that will be set for RBAC. But anything, I'll show you in when I will settings tenant all stuff. Okay. Quickly, yes, transitioning from Windows 10. So now everyone is doing migration from Windows 10, because Windows 10 is again going out of support. And managing BYOD devices is very easy. Securing your deployments and compliance, streamlining your onboarding with Autopilot is seamlessly easy now. And facilitating remote work, like, you don't need to do hard reset and all. You can simply go and click one click, and that's it. That's done. And application management and delivery, that is. So terms condition, I just don't want to, just guys can easily read it. So very much like Entra ID, devices should Entra ID joined. Device should register with M365 services for the users. And it is co-management. If you're doing co-management, so co-management you can easily do for Windows 10 or later devices. Okay, both from SSM and Intune. Conditional access policy, you can set, like, if the user is following this or is having access to this resource, then ask him to complete this application. Once both the criteria are met, then he will be having access to company resources. An administrative unit, as talked, as an admin, Microsoft Entra, where you put the resources, you set all things in the container, and once those resources, like your users group or devices, once they are there and right person, right device is in the right container, then he will access to this. Okay. So last thing, benefit, whatever we talked overall. So benefit in sense, you can keep mobile device assets, you can enroll, you can control any sort of access or resources and data on the mobile devices. You can deploy and retire devices at ease. Okay, you can wipe out and disable lost and stolen devices. You can send the updates regardless of the platform or location. Okay, you can configure any secure any devices with based on your security standard. If they are not meeting, it will not comply. You can push certificates to access Wi-Fi. It is very common nowadays. Everyone is doing this, and if you're feeling if you're using a very VPN network, and if you are not the certificate is not there, then you will not be able to access the Wi-Fi. Okay, and you can collect report data, and you can track the devices with a central point. Okay, these are the you would say documentations which you can refer for further. If you're doing something and if you want to investigate further, you want to have more knowledge, you can definitely visit to these websites. These documents to refer. And I think that's it. Thank you, guys. I'm 8 minutes late. So that's it for today. Let's connect tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow we'll plan to set up the trial version of tenant, and we'll see further. Okay. Now, if any questions, any doubt, feel free to ask, maybe if you have time. If not, then definitely we'll catch up tomorrow.
Thank you.
So